History is filled with epic tales of legendary warriors. But have you ever heard of the African man who became a samurai in feudal Japan? This isn't a fantasy movie plot. It's the true, untold saga of Yasuke, Japan's first and only black samurai. His story is one of the most fascinating and mysterious in Japanese history, a journey from a foreign land to the inner circle of one of Japan's most powerful warlords. So, how did a man from Africa end up wielding a katana alongside the fiercest warriors of the Sengoku period? Grab your seats, because we're about to dive deep into a legend that has been hidden in the shadows for far too long. Our story begins around the 1570s, a time of intense civil war in Japan known as the Sengoku period. Warlords, or daimyo, battled for control of the country. It was into this chaotic world that a man of African origin arrived. We don't know his birth name or his exact homeland. Some sources suggest Mozambique, others Ethiopia or Sudan, but we know he came to Japan in the service of an Italian Jesuit missionary named Alessandro Valignano. Imagine the scene. Valignano, on an inspection tour of Jesuit missions, arrives in the capital city of Kyoto in 1579, accompanied by this towering, powerfully built man with skin darker than any the Japanese had ever seen. The people of Kyoto were stunned. A crowd so large and frenzied gathered to see him that several people were crushed to death in the commotion. Word of this extraordinary foreigner quickly reached the most powerful man in Japan at the time, the formidable daimyo, Oda Nobunaga. Nobunaga was a ruthless visionary, a brilliant military strategist on a quest to unify Japan under his rule. He was also known for his fascination with Western culture, technology, and all things unusual. Intrigued by the reports, he demanded an audience with this man. When the man was brought before him, Nobunaga was in disbelief. He was convinced the man's dark skin was just ink and ordered him to be stripped and scrubbed. Of course, the color didn't wash off. Nobunaga was utterly captivated, not just by his appearance, but by his sheer physical presence. Standing at an estimated 6 feet 2 inches, he towered over the average Japanese man of the era, who was just over 5 feet tall. He was described as having the strength of 10 men. Nobunaga, impressed by his intellect and strength, gave him a new name, Yasuke. This was more than just a nickname. It was the beginning of an unprecedented rise. Nobunaga took Yasuke into his service, and their relationship quickly evolved from mere curiosity to genuine respect and friendship. Yasuke learned Japanese and was soon treated not as a servant, but as a trusted member of Nobunaga's inner circle. He was given a residence, a stipend, and, most importantly, a katana. This was an honor of the highest degree. The katana was the soul of the samurai, and for a foreigner to be granted one and welcomed into the warrior class was unheard of. Yasuke had officially become a samurai. Yasuke wasn't just a ceremonial guard. He was a true warrior who fought alongside Nobunaga's forces. He was present at major battles and became a well-known figure within the Oda clan. Historical records describe him as a loyal and valiant retainer. Imagine the sight: a black samurai, clad in Japanese armor, fighting for the most powerful warlord in the land. He was a living legend, a symbol of Nobunaga's power and his willingness to break with tradition. Yasuke was even granted the privilege of dining with Nobunaga, an honor reserved for a select few. He had gone from a nameless attendant to a respected samurai warrior, a trusted confidant of the man who was on the verge of conquering all of Japan. But as with all great tales from the Sengoku period, this one is marked by betrayal and tragedy. In June 1582, Nobunaga was at the Honnoji Temple in Kyoto with only a small contingent of guards, including Yasuke. He was ambushed by one of his own generals, Akechi Mitsuhide, in what is famously known as the Honnoji Incident. Outnumbered and trapped, Nobunaga's forces fought bravely, but the situation was hopeless. Yasuke fought fiercely to defend his lord, battling Mitsuhide's army in a desperate last stand. As the temple burned around them, Oda Nobunaga, facing certain defeat, chose to commit seppuku, the ritual suicide of a samurai, to avoid the disgrace of being captured. In his final moments, Nobunaga gave Yasuke one last command: to take his head and his sword to his son and heir, Oda Nobutada, to prevent the enemy from claiming them as trophies. Yasuke honored his master's final wish, fighting his way through the enemy lines to reach Nobutada. Yasuke found Nobutada and his forces, but they too were soon overwhelmed by Akechi's army. After another fierce battle, Yasuke was eventually captured. When he was brought before Akechi Mitsuhide, the traitorous general was unsure what to do with him. Mitsuhide reportedly dismissed Yasuke, stating that he was not Japanese but an animal and didn't understand the concept of honor, so he shouldn't be killed. Instead of executing him, Akechi sent him back to the Jesuits, the very people who had brought him to Japan. And this is where the historical record of Yasuke tragically fades. After being handed over to the Jesuits in Kyoto, he disappears from the annals of history. We have no definitive account of what happened to him next. Did he stay in Japan? Did he leave with the Jesuits and travel to other parts of Asia? Did he perhaps try to return to Africa? We simply don't know. His story ends as abruptly as it began, leaving us with a powerful but incomplete legend. For centuries, Yasuke's story was largely forgotten, a footnote in the grand epic of the Sengoku period. But in recent years, his incredible tale has been rediscovered and is finally getting the recognition it deserves. He's been the subject of books, manga, anime, and is even set to be the protagonist of major Hollywood films and video games. Why does his story resonate so deeply with us today? Because it's a powerful testament to the human spirit. It's a story about breaking barriers, about earning respect through strength and character, and about forging your own destiny in a world that tries to define you. Yasuke was a man who transcended race, culture, and social status to become a legend. He was an outsider who became an insider, a foreigner who embodied the spirit of the samurai. His journey from an unknown land to the heart of feudal Japan is a reminder that history is far more complex, diverse, and fascinating than we're often taught. He is not just Japan's first black samurai. He is a global icon of strength, loyalty, and honor. His legacy proves that a warrior's spirit knows no borders. What do you think happened to Yasuke after he disappeared from the history books? Let me know your theories in the comments below. His story is a powerful piece of our shared world history, and it deserves to be told. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the hidden corners of history. See you next time.